What's up, guys? This is Brave, and I'm back with another review of Tyler Perry's Sistas. This is season 3, episode 18. The episode is titled From a Woman, and let's go ahead and get into it because I know I have been MIA for a couple of episodes, so I'm definitely going to drop in little nuggets of things that happened in the past and what I thought about them while I'm reviewing what happened in episode 18. So let's go ahead and get started. So we first start off with Zach and Fatima. Now, I'm not even going to start on what happened because I need to go back a little bit. So Zach and Fatima's storyline has been quite interesting just because Hayden is involved in this, because Hayden, he is messing with Fatima as well as Zach. Now, I don't understand why he doesn't have a case to work on. Same reason maybe why Andy doesn't have a case to work on. But you know what? What should we expect? But this is Tyler Perry's writing. But anyways, when it comes to Hayden, I will say that Hayden definitely keeps things interesting on this show because you never know what to expect out of him. For example, I did not expect for him to hack into Fatima's phone. I did not expect for him to be able to tap her phone and be able to record her conversations and listen into her conversations. Like, that is absolutely crazy, especially considering the fact that he's a lawyer. Like, he knows that what he's doing is absolutely wrong. And I'm like, dude, could you please get a grip? At this point, it's like really insane how much of a stalker he is over Fatima. Especially considering they only went out one time. I think they hooked up. But it's like, dude, you're that thirsty? Chill out a little bit. And not only that, but the fact that he went to the house that Zach bought, I was like, you know what? Hayden is such a snake, but I like him as the villain because he plays the role quite well. So, as we know previously, Fatima, she talked to one of her homegirls about how, she wanted Hayden to wear like this orange shirt and look more casual at work because this is her way of testing to see if he was tapping her phone. And at one point, the friend mentioned something about Zach, and she's like, yeah, girl, I'm just playing him or whatever. I just be, blowing his head up. So Hayden recorded that little part, and he sent the message to Zach. So Zach, before he goes into Fatima's house, he hears this message. Now, the way that the previews played out before, it made it seem like he was going to hear that message before he met up with Karen, if y'all remember. But no, he heard this message after the fact, and I'm like, thank God. Now let's go ahead and get to this episode, because Tyler, you owe us a whole nother scene, because what we watched, I don't agree with at all. Zach comes in, he got a jacked up attitude because he just heard, the stuff that Fatima says. Now, Fatima is trying to figure out how everything went, considering he just had this conversation with Karen, which I'm going to get on a little bit later. Now, instead of him, confronting her about, hey, what is this message that I got? Is this really how you feel about me? Like, what is going on? Because I thought, it was Fatima against the world. That's what I thought we would have gotten out of Zach. But no, he goes back to tell her, nah, I hooked up with Karen. It's always going to be me and Karen, and I want to be with Karen. What? How does that make any sense? Like, I'm sorry, it makes no sense to me that Zach's character was written to basically dump Fatima, choose Karen, and that was his way out. Because we could have totally gotten them disagreeing where he was like, you know what? I heard how you really felt about me, how you just playing me, all this stuff. He still could have left. Like, y'all get what I'm saying? Like, he still could have left. We still could have had them come back together at the end. It did not have to be this roundabout, let me go back to tell her, oh, I got back with my ex. Let me go back to tell her that I hooked up with her. First of all, she just said, oh, it didn't take you long over there. So clearly you wasn't hooking up with her that long, Zach. But you know what? Whatever. Alright, so even though I love Fatima, this is one thing that stuck out to me. Why was his bags already packed, y'all? I don't understand why Zach's things were already packed when he's been staying with Fatima. Like, she got home, she told him that she made dinner. When did she have time to pack his stuff up? This is what I mean by Tyler. This could have been written so much better. Because it makes no sense if you know that this man already told you it's going to be me and you. I'm going to go over there, tell Karen I don't want to be with her, and then I'm coming right back home to you. Why would you pack his stuff up? How does that make sense, y'all? Somebody please explain to me in the comments. But let's go ahead and move along. Alright, so let's go ahead and move along to Andy and Robin. Y'all already know Andy gets on my nerves, and I find Robin to be very disgusting. I'm sorry, it blows my mind how many times that he has told Andy how much he has fantasized about her, how he wants to touch her, how he wants to be with her. Everything is sexual with him. Everything. I don't like it at all. Because I feel like even though he may tell Andy like, oh yeah, you're beautiful, you're a smart woman, but then it always leads back to some type of sexual thing with them. And I'm like, yeah, you're icky. I don't really like this. But I digress. So you have him and Andy. They are laying in the bed because, oh yeah, forgot to mention, she decided, oh, I'm going to meet up with Robin. Let him be my sounding board to talk about Gary because I'm pissed off at him. Y'all already know the game that Andy plays. She does this every single time. Every time that she is pissed off at Gary, what does she do? She has some guy in her back pocket that she's going to go meet up with, hook up with them, hang out with them, cuddle up with them. She's going to do something with them so that way it can fill this void that she has with Gary. And I cannot stand that. So before they got any further, to get things popping, she ends up stopping it because she basically feels like she's going to regret it, right? I said, okay, finally. Andy is not, going to hook up with Robin. Y'all, when he said, I'm actually glad that you stopped me because no one has stopped me since I was 16 years old. I'm sorry, but Robin, you are not that guy, that you're that irresistible, that there has never been a woman that tell you, you know what, let's stop. Let's not go this far. I don't believe it, and I don't trust you. Alright, now I will say this, that within this conversation that Andy had with Robin, I find it interesting that at this moment is when she says that she doesn't know if she's coming or going. Her life is just a mess right now. I'm like, girl, your life has been a mess since Gary had you walking down that dirt road because the police arrested him. Your life has been a mess since you got jumped by Jasmine and her homegirls. Your life has been a mess since you technically been messing around with Gary. Hell, since we met you, girl, your life has been a mess. So I don't understand why at this point you think that your life is a mess. Because last time I checked, you and Gary are no longer engaged. He should be out of your house, even though for some reason that Negro will not leave. How is your life a mess? You should be getting rid of the baggage. But you know what, Andy? I digress because for some reason, you're still holding on to this thought of you and Gary and a possibility. So when she's about to leave out of the room, right, y'all? Why did she ask Robin, am I going to see you again? As if, number one, she wasn't going to see him around the office. But number two, this man clearly still has interest in you, Andy. Yeah, you're going to see him again. Don't you worry. What got me was that, if y'all noticed, baby girl only took her top off. You could see that she had a bra on. And she still had her skirt on. When she grabbed her things off the floor, you guys, she grabbed her jacket, she grabbed her shoes, and maybe her blouse. This is really important for something that's going to happen at the end of the episode. So Andy ends up getting all her stuff together. She gets dressed and she dips out or whatever. Her and Robin say that they're good with each other. Y'all, who does she run into? She runs into Zach. And he like, Andy, what you doing here? And the only thing she could say was, bye, Zach. And she skedaddled, okay? She got on. Right on down that hallway. So, it's funny to me that Zach, he really must got money now. Because baby boy is staying at the Carlisle, which to me sounds like a very fancy hotel, and he's staying on the same floor as Robin, who is some high-powered, like, attorney. Like, how much money are you paying for this room, Zach? I'm just curious to know. But anyways, the first thing that Zach did when he got to the room was call Fatima, because he know that he in the wrong. He knows that he should not have gone into the house and figured like, oh, I'm just gonna tell her that me and Karen got back together, instead of actually questioning her about the things that I heard on my voicemail. Like, come on, Zach, grow up. So another thing that happened randomly. Y'all, why after he threw his phone down, he gets a phone call from old girl at the bank who was doing his stocks and stuff. I'm trying to figure out this, y'all. What time of day is it? Because it has to be evening, right? It has to be night or something like that. Because Sabrina's at home. Sabrina is at home. I know Maurice for sure is at home. Why is old girl making phone calls to Zach saying, oh, have you checked the stocks lately? Because your numbers just doubled to $1.7 million. Y'all, I'm trying to make that make sense. I'm trying to figure out why this woman is calling him at whatever hour it is in the evening to tell him this, because that's going above and beyond a banker's job. But I digress. Now, Zach realizes that he is rich. He wants to move $1 million into his bank account. And then he wants to, I think, still keep 700 in his portfolio so he can keep, investing it. Now, y'all, going from that to where I'm about to go, I'm going to need y'all to go ahead and buckle up now, because two people are definitely about to get read. And if they're your favorites, sorry for you, because they deserve it at this point. Because we're going to Karen and Aaron. And let me y'all already know, I gotta bring it back. I have to take it back a little bit. Because, Aaron, how desperate are you? How thirsty are you? There is no reason that Aaron should have any interest in Karen at this point. First off, Karen has been dragging Aaron in between Zach for a while now, right? There has always been this Aaron or Zach, Zach or Aaron, right? But once she hooked up with Zach, and then you told her you were going to give her space, even though you didn't, you called her like the next day, I'm giving you a side eye. Then on top of that, now Karen is so interested in Zach. She has all this, ooh, I want to be back with Zach. And you're still sticking around. How many times is this woman going to have to show you that she don't really want you for you to realize it's time to move on? Oh, but my bad, because it's in your soul's fibers that you need to be with Karen. There is something wrong with that picture. I'm sorry. Aaron has to be deranged, because nothing is making sense to me as to why he would still want to be with her. Especially after they were about to get it popping and she called him Zach's name multiple times. And come to find out, oh yeah, she also said Zach's name when they were hooking up the last time. I'm sorry, but ain't no way. Ain't no way. There is no way a man is going to stick around waiting on Karen while she figure this out. Because honestly, there's nothing to figure out. She don't want you, Aaron. She don't. And then when it comes to Karen, what bothers me the most is how much of a liar Karen is. Karen is such a liar because she sits up here talking about how she needed Zach to tell her that he did not want her. She needed to hear those words so that she can move on. Girl, no. Ain't no way I'm about to let somebody tell me that they don't want me all these times to my face. Oh, but my bad. In Karen's logic, he was mad and upset. Y'all, please let me know, when was Zach mad and upset? Because every time that he told Karen that he did not want to be with her, he was either frustrated because Karen kept asking him to keep saying it. That's what happened in the last conversation that they had. But prior to that, I thought that Zach told her that he did not want to be with her anymore and that he was moving forward with Fatima when he came and gave her the check. So I'm not understanding where she gets this idea that, oh my gosh, Zach was so pissed off, so he didn't mean it. And even when she meets up with Aaron right now, and he's asking her, well, how'd everything go or whatever, she basically tells him, well, he didn't tell me that he didn't love me no more. And he didn't say this and he didn't say that, when those are all the things that he said. Then she later says, oh yeah, he said that, but he didn't mean it. He didn't mean that. Girl, goodbye. At this point, Karen, you seem like a gold digger. The only reason why you want Zach back is because he came into some money. Nothing about Zach has changed, technically. Zach is still Zach. And y'all are both toxic for each other. So I'm not understanding why you are so hell-bent on getting back with Zach, or saying that Zach needs to tell me that he doesn't want to be with me. He's told you this multiple times. Yet for some reason, it is written that Karen just does not grasp that concept at all. And honestly, I don't even feel like this is in Karen's character. Or I don't know who feels this way. Because there's no way she has such strong opinions about how trifling Gary was. But when it comes to Zach, now she wants to forgive everything that he's done because he got money now. Because let's not forget, not to bring things up, but Zach cheated on her multiple times, brought her an STD, almost had a baby on her. Like, Zach has definitely done his fair share of dirt. But her obsession with him is mind-blowing. And don't even get me started on the whole, oh, is he with Fatima? Because that right there has pissed me off for the past 3 episodes. It is blowing my mind that Karen feels like, first of all, Andy has to tell her if Zach is with Fatima. Andy don't have to take anything because at the end of the day, I do like Andy's stand of, I'm not getting in the middle of that because none of that is my concern. I don't care for that. And I also don't like the fact that she sits up here and at one point, it was always about Aaron. Aaron is such a good man. He doing this, he doing that, blah, 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 blah. He treats me so well. I don't understand how we circled all the way back to Zach. And now you're so mad that Zach has moved on to somebody else when you still have Aaron in the cut. It's one thing if Karen was by herself and Zach had moved on and she wasn't ready to move on. That's one thing. But you've been stringing along Aaron this whole damn time. You don't have the right to sit up there and be in your feelings when you got somebody, girl. You got somebody in the cut. It's just not fair that you feel like you're entitled to what Zach is doing. Just look at the way that Karen popped up at the airport after Danny told her, hey, it's not a good idea for you to come by the airport because Zach isn't even here. She still showed up. She forced Danny to call the man. And then when he was on the line, she took the phone from Danny, and he's still telling her how he don't want her, how he don't want to meet up with her. She over trying to suggest, oh, come meet up at my house. Oh, come meet up at my salon. No, girl, y'all need to go to a neutral place, just so that you can get closure. He doesn't owe you closure. And I don't even think, like Fatima said, that girl don't want closure. She wants you, Zach. And it's none of this is making sense. Like, I'm sorry. At this point, I am so ready for season 4 because I need all new storylines for season 4. Especially for Karen. I don't want to see no more Zach and Karen. And I honestly don't want to see Aaron and Karen anymore either. Because he's a weak man at this point. There is no way. I'm sorry, y'all. There's no way that a man is going to stick around for Karen like that. And then, I forgot to even mention, when she ran out of the place, because she could not deal with her feelings, because her little heart got broke because Zach didn't want her, child, I was done. I was done. All right, let me just go ahead and move on to the next scene because I've talked about those two for far too long. So we go over to Danny and Preston. They are getting it in. Preston was butt naked in that scene. And I was like, oh, okay, that's what we're doing. Danny was about to have a nip slip. Like, seriously. I thought that her whole boob was about to come out during that scene. Like, I'm like, they had to have, like, reshot this to, like, reposition her boobs because, yeah, 1 second away from a nip slip. But what I found interesting about this scene was the fact that he had a picture of his cousin. I wish y'all could see me doing air quotes. He had a picture of her in his wallet. I think that was very strange. I think that it's strange for him to have a photo of this woman that he lives with just hanging out in his wallet. That was very strange. I understand that Preston and Danny don't really have much going on besides the fact that now Danny wants him to be there even though she previously said that they needed their space. I think that Tyler needs to figure out what to do with Danny and Preston because their story right now, I'm not feeling it. I'm not feeling the whole country cousin that's not really a cousin. Not feeling him carrying her picture around. Not feeling how Danny really wants him to be there all the time now. I need something else to happen. Like, I don't know what, but I need something else to happen with this couple. Let's move on. Alright, so we next saw Andy calling Fatima to come down to the Carlisle with her so that they can talk and chit chat and have a little girls moment. Alright, that was cute. Next thing you know, we hop back over to Karen. She is laying on her couch and she has a knock at the door. Of course, she probably wished that it was Zach, but it wasn't him. Who was it? Of course, it's Aaron. Y'all, Aaron is like something that just won't go away. Like a rash that won't go away. Because he just keeps popping back up. He keeps popping back up. Even though this girl pushes him away every chance she gets. So they finally have that conversation about what happened between her and Zach. Which I feel like I already talked about, how she kept playing around and lying that he didn't say it, but then he did say it. Whatever. Yeah, I think I already mentioned that. Here's my whole thing though. Because by the end of this scene, his arms are wrapped around Karen and he's consoling her even though she don't want him. Y'all, what man would do that? Please let me know. What man is willing to console this woman who is basically telling you in a non-conventional way that she don't want you because she's so stuck on somebody else? Like, at this point, I feel like Aaron is friend-zoned. Like, there's nothing romantic anymore. I feel like at this point, she is using you as a sounding board, and you are friend-zoned, sir. Alright, you guys, let's go ahead and hop on over to Sabrina and Calvin. Whoo, Lord. So y'all already know that I have to rewind a little bit because there were some things that happened in the past episodes that I have opinions about. So, first off, I need for Sabrina as well as Calvin to stop going to Maurice for advice, because what's funny to me is that Maurice basically convinced Sabrina that, oh girl, you are in love with this man. And then he tells Calvin consistently to, oh yeah, go over to Sabrina's house and do this and do that. Instead of saying, Calvin, how about you call Sabrina? Because at this point, Calvin has popped up at Sabrina's house a good 3, 4, 5 times. And I'm just like, sir, you don't call at all, do you? You just show up. At this point, she might as well give you a key the way you keep popping up. But anyways, I need to go back because there was a scene with Jacoby at the bank and I didn't appreciate it at all. Y'all want to know why I don't appreciate it? Because we've already had this scene before. And Tyler thought he was slick. I feel like he has no idea what to do with Jacoby's character. And he had to figure out a way to write him off. And I must say, this was probably the worst way to do it. Because basically, Jacoby came back in. He's apologizing yet again to Sabrina, talking about how he just got angry. He starts saying things and blah, 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 blah. Right? He's asking Sabrina out on dates, even though she's turning him down. And I'm just like, didn't we already get this scene? Y'all remember when she was like closing up the bank? He walked in, he apologized, basically said all the same things that he's saying right now. Well, right there in that other episode. And she was like, you gotta go, you're scaring me. And she looked like he was about to hit her. Y'all remember that episode? It wasn't that long ago. I was trying to figure out why Tyler Perry wrote that same script basically a second time. That made no sense. And then for her to later call Danny to tell her what happened at work, talking about Jacoby ain't even his real name. And he does this quite often. I'm like, but y'all, it wasn't like he got a job at like Target. He was working at the bank. I thought they do better background checks at the bank. Like, wouldn't you know if his name isn't Jacoby? Wouldn't you have like done some type of something background check to check and see who this person really was? And also, can y'all please tell me what he does in All the King's Men? Somebody please drop that in the comments because I haven't watched the show yet. Please let me know, because I thought he was going to be on the stripper show. Like, is he still Jacoby? Do we have a different name he going by? Like, let me know what's happening, y'all. Please let me know. But anyways, like I said, that whole thing made no sense to me when it came to Jacoby and Sabrina. But let's just go ahead and talk about this, because Calvin has told Sabrina everything that this white girl does with him in the bedroom, right? Because she has admitted that, you know, she's jealous of Peggy. So, of course, now I see what Tyler did by naming her Peggy, you know, pegging Peggy. I see what you did there, Tyler. So that is one thing that he actually likes. Calvin likes to be pegged. Calvin likes for his woman to put a strap-on on and go to town, right? Sabrina, she's not one that's going to do that. She is not going to be, you know, strapping anything on. She finds it to be very, what's it called? Basically saying that it's not a masculine thing. I can't think of what that word is. And he's like, no, this is just something that I like. This is my fetish, whatever. And if you're not into it, then that's fine. You don't have to do it. I said, okay, whatever. Can we circle back to the fact that Sabrina don't want this man? Because I feel like I've been saying that since I've been reviewing this show. Sabrina, you don't want this man. There is way too many things that you find strange about him that you can't get with, you're not willing to bend with, but you're still trying to hold on to it for what? Like, there's nothing to hold on to with Calvin at this point. There really isn't. But also I kind of gave a side eye to Sabrina because I'm like, well, girl, you had already, did the whole vibrator thing. So what was the difference between the strap on and the vibrator? Like, you didn't want to thrust your hips? Like, I'm trying to figure out what was the big difference. But you know what? I'm going to go ahead and let that go. So baby girl sends him on his way, right? And we already know, what is Sabrina going to do? She has to call Danny. Because that's just what Sabrina does. She has to always get a second opinion from somebody else. So you already know she gives Danny the details about Calvin, which is something that he told her a while back about how she always has to go tell her friends everything, or hell, anybody. And, that's what she happens to do. She always happens to tell his business. So, she tells Danny this. Danny is just sitting on her couch like, oh my God, this is not what I wanted to hear. And then Sabrina said something along the lines of, the more that I learn about him, the more I don't like him. You just realized that? Girl, give it up with Calvin. And then she went on to say that she needed Danny to give her some advice. What did she expect the advice to be? Was she expecting Danny to say, stick it out, girl, keep giving it a try? Like, was she going to expect for Danny to say, girl, put the strap on, it's going to be all right, you may like it too? Like, what was she expecting Danny to say to her, considering she talking about she needs some advice? Advice about what? I mean, honestly, the best thing that Danny said was that we're all tired of the Calvin and Sabrina drama. I said, ooh, truer words haven't been spoken, girl. So let's go ahead and move on, because we have Andy meeting up with Fatima. She's giving her the details about what went down with her, Robin, or whatever. And it was interesting to me that Fatima's response was that this whole situation wasn't good. But what happened was that Andy flipped it on her. It was like, oh, well, what's going on with you and Zach? Because, of course, Fatima did not approve of this whole Robin and Andy situation. Because you already know that Andy tends to flip situations on people when they're coming at her. But anyways, so now we have Fatima telling Andy about the whole Zach and Kara getting back together. Now, Andy doesn't believe that they're back together, and she happens to mention that, Zach, he's staying at this hotel. His room was right near Robin's room. So Fatima's like, no, I'm not even going to go up there. But on another note, let's talk about Hayden real quick, because if he comes into work with an orange shirt and some blue jeans on, then I know that he's listening in on my conversations. And that is when it clicked in her head that some type of way Hayden has something to do with the fact that Zach is feeling some type of way about Fatima. Now let's go ahead and hop on over to the next scene, which is Calvin and Maurice. Calvin comes home in that tacky outfit, and he basically lets Maurice know that he told Sabrina everything, and how he told Sabrina everything that he likes in bed and all this stuff, how he's so open and honest. Yeah, that's cute or whatever. But Maurice is like, okay, you like all these things, then why don't you just, get with a guy? And Calvin is like, well, I'm not interested in a guy. That's not who I would prefer my partner to be. I am still into women. I'm like, all right, cool. But at the end of the day, I'm still tired of Calvin and Sabrina. Oh, and let me not forget the fact that Calvin, he brought up to Maurice, has he ever tried it? And I'm like, why are you asking Maurice if he's ever tried a strap-on? Well, number one, Maurice is gay. And if I'm being honest, I thought Maurice was a bottom. So he wouldn't need to try a strap. Y'all can understand what I'm saying. Let's just go ahead and move on. All right, let's move on to Fatima. She has rolled up on Zach in his hotel room, and she's just trying to get some answers. She wants some clarity of, did he actually sleep with Karen? He's like, no, but he did sleep with her at her job a long time ago. Well, not a long time ago, maybe like a week ago in Tyler Perry time. So, yeah, he lied or whatever. So, come to find out, long story short, you have Fatima calling her homegirl to, basically reiterate what happened today. Even though I feel like this could have been written so much better. Yeah, Fatima and Zach are back on. I'm sorry, I just hate the way that this scene was written, because we did not need this roundabout way for them to figure out that Hayden was involved in this. Just saying. Also, it's crazy to me that you have Robin who's staying at this hotel. You have Zach who's staying at this hotel. And the one person who needs to really move out of somebody's place, he could have been right on the same floor with all of them. And that would be Gary. Now, let's go ahead and move on to Gary and Andy, because baby girl comes home, right? Gary is still at her house. You guys, I'm trying to understand what is happening with Gary and Andy, because he should not be there. Last time I checked, she told him to get out. He had the therapist in her house that she did not want. Why is this man still here? Either way, baby girl comes into the house. Y'all know she's still a little tipsy. So Andy and Gary had this conversation about how he fired his therapist because she tried to give him head, and how basically Andy was right and he's sorry. So next thing you know, you have Gary telling Andy that, oh, he just wants to cuddle, he just wants to hold her or whatever. And she keeps telling him like, no, I want to go take a shower. I've had a long day, I want to take a shower. He's like, no, you don't have to. Next thing you know, he starts kissing down her body, and then he comes back up quite quickly and is like, why is your panties on backwards? You guys, let's reference, what I was talking about earlier when we were seeing the scenes of Robin and Andy. When did baby girl take her panties off? She had that skirt on the whole time. Tyler, stop trying to play with us. Please stop trying to play with us. And also, so now Gary is fine having sex with Andy? He has no problem? He has no problem going down on her? I'm confused. Like, I really want Gary to go. I want him out of her place. I want him out of her life. I am over the storyline of Andy and Gary. But you guys, that was the episode. Thanks so much for watching this video. If you do choose to, go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. And I will talk to you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.